I'm Max Lopez. This is the Blue Wave. We got Joe Biden appearing on The View recently, and he very aptly, in my opinion, pushes back on the totally bogus claim that Joe Biden calling out Donald Trump as a threat to democracy is what has led to the two assassination attempts on Donald Trump's life, which I will say are very, very unfortunate and have no place in American politics whatsoever. But the thing is that Donald Trump did do quite a bit of things that were very, very in a direct opposition to the Constitution and to American democracy. So let's go ahead and look at this clip from The View here and hear what Biden has to say.
Joy's got the next question.
Yes. All right, let's go down memory lane for a second because Trump started his political campaign by calling Mexicans rapists. Remember that?
I sure do.
He still jokes about Paul Pelosi nearly being beaten to death. He thinks that's funny. Let's see what else. He hinted that the Second Amendment people could do something against Hillary Clinton. And he's calling for a televised military tribunal for Liz Cheney. These are his past statements and ideas. He's blamed now, but now he's blaming rhetoric from you that you inspired these two assassination attempts. After all of the calls for violence, you know, take them out, all the rest of it, you know what it is. Don't you think that that is just unbelievable? And what do you say to that?
Well, I think he is the most unusual president. No. Look, when I ran, I said I was running. One of the first major speeches I made was for Independence Hall about democracy. That democracy was at stake.
And to restore the soul of this country.
Yes.
The soul.
I ran for three reasons. I said I wanted to restore the soul of the country, meaning a sense of decency and honor.
Yep.
Secondly, I wanted to make the middle class grow, because when it grows, everybody does well. And thirdly, I wanted to bring the country back together. And I was told we couldn't do any of those things. But we've gotten a lot of them done. And look, Trump is...
Careful.
There's not a lot of social redeeming value there.
No, you think right.
But here's the thing. He really does not believe in democracy and the guardrails that our system is set up for the abuse of power. And you look at what he does and what he says, and look what he did.
Yes,
look what he did
on January 6th.
And not on just January 6th was absolutely bizarre. Bizarre. I was, on January 6th, I was sitting in my office waiting to get ready to be sworn in. And I was going to make a speech on another subject. And I went out and I made a speech on democracy. I made a speech on why this is ridiculous, why this cannot stand. I mean, think about it. And look, one of the things I've spent most of my career doing was consistently for 50 years is foreign policy. And the way in which the rest of the world was looking at this is bizarre. And I can tell you now.
Yeah, so that's a good point. What was the rest of the world thinking of America when all that craziness on January 6th was going down? And recently some news has come out that in Tempe, Arizona, there in fact has been a shooting at Harris Wall's campaign office. Thankfully, no one was hurt and no one was there, but it seems to be that this was some sort of politically motivated shooting at Harris Wall's office. And, I think that Biden is totally correct in his calling out of Donald Trump being a threat to democracy and that he doesn't believe in democracy whatsoever. Let's remember that Donald Trump asked Brad Raffensperger, the district attorney of Georgia, not the district attorney, the Secretary of State of Georgia, to find him 12,000 votes that he needed to push him over the edge against Biden in that state. Trump will do anything he can possibly do to retain his power. And he went as far as riling up a mob to attack the Capitol after months and months and months of lying about the outcome of the election, when we know that people in his inner circle repeatedly told Donald Trump, you lost this election. The results are in and you lost. And Donald Trump's ego could not handle that fact of reality. So he took to put his hand on the lever and on the scale in every chance that he could get to retain his power. And it led up to that awful, faithful day where Donald Trump makes the excuse that, oh, well, he told them to go peacefully to the Capitol, so he can't possibly have any blame whatsoever for what went down on that terrible day, because he told everyone to go peacefully. But hold on a second here. Donald Trump is the one who fed the lies and amplified the lies on his social media and from the White House, in fact, that there was some sort of fraudulent action in the 2020 election without any evidence or any proof whatsoever that that was the case. He lied and lied and lied about that to the American people over and over and over again. So much so that they got whipped into a frenzy and put their bodies on the line to help Donald Trump retain power, and went to hand combat with Capitol Police for hours and hours and hours, using all sorts of different weapons at their disposal to batter and beat police officers who were on the front line of holding back this mob from infiltrating the Capitol. And we know that people died on that day, and we know that the reason that everybody was there was because Donald Trump threw water on the outcome of the election, and he cast doubt and sowed so much confusion about the results of the election when there was no confusion, that it led to bloodshed on that terrible, terrible day. So Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. It doesn't matter how many more assassination attempts that are carried out against him. It does not change the fact that Donald Trump does not want American democracy and American elections to continue in the way that they have for the last 200 plus years, if it means that he cannot have power and he cannot be president of the United States. There's other examples of this. In my home state of New Mexico, in fact, in one of the southern counties, the results of the election that show that the Democratic candidate won were not accepted and were thrown out by the Republican judge in that county, that ultimately led to them being sued. And you know, it's basically become where if the Republicans don't get their way in any particular election, the election was fraudulent. It had all sorts of mishaps in it that led to, or should lead to, us not accepting the result of what the voters said. That is a direct snub of the democratic system in this country, and is directly insulting the will of the people. And it's saying to the will of the people, I know better than you. I know better than what you want, people of this country, which is, again, directly in opposition to what we would consider to be democracy and the people of this country ultimately deciding who runs this country and the policies that get put forward in Washington, D.C. So Trump is the ultimate threat to democracy. It doesn't matter how many more attempts on his life happen. That basic fact remains, and we should keep calling it out from here all the way until election day to remind the American people just how much of a threat Donald Trump is to our democratic norms, just how incompetent he was on January 6th in upholding the democratic norms of this country, and how we're not going to let him get away with it and try to turn this around on Biden when Trump is the one who has time and time again increased the rhetoric in this country, increased the political temperature in this country, and Biden calling it out is totally accurate. So that's all I got for you guys in this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Share the video with someone who's into politics. It helps YouTube take my channel more seriously and get the word out to more and more people. Have a great rest of your day or night or evening, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.